Welcome back to another edition of Taste. Today, I always promise you, you're going to get some new secrets, some new recipes, things that are easy to do, but it's going to make your life so much simpler when you've got rushing and you've got things to do and make really special dishes. Today with us, we have an exceptionally special cook, chef, caterer, Deborah Metiver. Welcome, Sardinia Metiver.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Deborah's company is DSM. Does it have
Creative Cuisine.
Creative Cuisine? DSM Creative Cuisine. Deborah, what are you going to prepare for us today?
Well, today we're going to do a little spin on healthy, but healthy that has a couple of our Caribbean.
Healthy. We've got a lot of health conscious
yes,
people out there
definitely.
looking at us.
And healthy can be tasty, and healthy can have a lot of vibrant colors and textures and layers. So we're going to concentrate on that. Plus, as you said, teaching a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So, where are we going to begin?
We're starting with the chicken breast, and we're actually going to you're going to help me make a dry rub.
Okay, with great pleasure.
Okay, so let's get started.
What can I get for you?
We have it measured, so we're just pouring it into
Everything's
the bowl.
just measured?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
wow.
organized.
You are so organized.
Just
Thank
come
you.
a little closer, I won't bite you.
All right, I'm with you.
Starting with a little bit of granulated onion powder.
Onion powder. So we're making the whole rub to put on the kitchen.
Whole rub. And
This
then
is
we have some garlic powder.
garlic powder.
Half of that in turmeric powder.
Half of this in turmeric powder.
We also have a little cayenne, so we're putting 2 good pinches of cayenne pepper.
Okay, 2 good pinches of cayenne.
And paprika as well, 2 good pinches.
2 good pinches of paprika. Don't worry, folks, I wash my hands, eh? There we go.
And a good pinch of black pepper.
And a good pinch of freshly ground black pepper. There we
Freshly
go.
ground. That's one of the keys. Okay. We're putting a little bit of salt because we're laying flavors again.
Oh, okay,
so just
so we're
one
not going
pinch.
to put too much salt.
No.
A little pinch goes in there.
And then a little sugar to counterbalance the chili.
Okay, so this is brown sugar.
Yes, brown sugar.
Okay, and how much brown sugar should I put?
3 good pinches.
3 good pinches. That sort of counterbalances the...
Right.
Some of the spices may have a slightly bitter flavor, so that's excellent to learn how to counterbalance that.
And a little jeera.
Jeera.
Now, the key to this jeera is not parched. It's basically straight out of the pack. And you can put it through a spice mill and just kind of grind it ever so lightly. So some of those natural oils start coming out. We're adding a little bit of
I'm actually
that.
smelling this. It's delightful. How much of this should I put?
A good pinch, because we
good
want
pinch.
that
I'll use all
robust
5
depth.
fingers.
We want a nice robust depth. And
There
then
we
we're just
go.
going to mix it together. Right? So we have that aside.
Can you just have a look at that?
Sure.
It's looking so good. And
Smells good, huh?
the perfumes coming off of this are
Nice.
just incredible.
Now, one
Lovely.
of the keys for healthy cooking is layering of flavors. So something like a chicken breast, which really will not have zero fat on it because we don't have the skin on it, skinless and boneless.
Yes.
We want to be able to infuse some of those
I've
flavors.
noticed that in the supermarkets you're now getting chicken parts, boneless and skinless.
Yes.
Because normally, I remember years ago, everything had skin, everything had bone.
Correct, but people are very conscious of it now. So what you're going to do, Ian, I'm going to put just a tad bit of olive oil because I want the rub to adhere to it a little bit.
Okay,
we're
that's
putting
extra virgin olive oil.
extra virgin.
And extra virgin olive oil has all the good cholesterols. I know, people say, oh, that's oil, I don't want oil, but this is actually good oil.
It is just a little bit. We're just literally just coating the breast ever so slightly.
Just so that all the spices stick to it.
That's right. And then again, another little tip is because we want the flavor, we did not put a lot of salt and pepper, so we're going to season with salt and pepper on the
Directly
chicken.
onto
Yep,
the
go
chicken.
right ahead.
Wonderful.
Good, good
we
little
have a little
pinch.
bit of
Yeah.
pepper now. Am I to be liberal or a little bit
Yeah,
reserved?
I like a little, well, not so much on the pepper, but you want to make sure it's salted nicely because this is just another layer.
Both sides?
Yes, I'm turning it over
Okay,
for you.
thank you. Yes, because ladies and gentlemen, when you're handling poultry, you have to be so very careful of washing your hands all the time because of the sanitary problems. Sometimes you can get cross-contamination if you touch that and you go back and you touch something else. Raw chicken can sometimes lead to salmonella, so always be very careful about that. A little bit of salt on this side as well. Just a wee bit more there. Wonderful.
What's nice about this dish as well is if you did not want to do a dry rub, you could actually do fresh herbs, a little bit of fresh rosemary, fresh basil, and the key is to
There's
really...
no limit to it, really.
You can interact. Fresh herbs will give you that really clean...
There's another little
Yes.
extra flavor. But I suppose the most important thing are those spices because there's an incredible mix of
Yes.
aromatic spices. Now, what are you putting there?
I'm doing the same spice rub that we made. I'm just
Okay.
basically putting it on, and then the key is you want to pat it in.
Okay, so that really adheres to the meat and the
Getting a
flavors
little
begin to
crust,
sink
a
in.
very thin crust, really. But what's happening is it's going to provide that first layer. And really what you want to do is at least have it marinate 45 minutes at least.
Now, what if you did this like overnight? If you
I was supposed to
did it
say,
the day
overnight
before?
is better. Just put it
Okay,
in a
you got
bag
that.
and you've gotten that out of the way and allowing the flavors to infuse. But you want to marinate it at least for half an hour.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay, so minimum half an hour, but overnight is better. And this is just with the dry rub.
Yes.
Okay, now you can do this with any part of the chicken. Can you do this with any other type of meat?
You can actually do it with the whole chicken. You roast it, and you really get underneath the skin, you know, and rub some of this rub underneath.
The skin.
Yes, and then so the layers of flavor just penetrate, get up in the cavity, and rub up underneath there as well.
You getting that, folks?
And
This
a nice piece of fresh orange or a piece of fresh lime, some citrus happening.
Another tidbit.
So lots of different things that you can do with this basic recipe.
Can you do this with any other type of meat?
Well, most definitely. Lamb, you can do it with. Pork, you can do it with. These, particularly the jeera, the robust flavor coming out of that jeera.
That's what I was wondering.
Allows
what about
itself.
fish? Is that maybe not, this is maybe too strong?
I would play around with the spices. Something a little more oily, like a carrot, would be able to take it, whereas a snapper is a little more delicate, so you would not
you don't want to cover
necessarily-
the flavor of the fish.
No, but something
totally
that
agree.
has a little bit of oil, a little robust, that dark meat will be able to lend itself to that. Okay?
Wow, there's so much going on back there with Ian and Deborah that he forgot to take the break. I'm going to take this opportunity and tell you, make sure and stay tuned to Taste right here.
So we're going to get ready to grill off.
I see we
Just
have
get our
this
pan
heating
under-
here.
Yes, let's
Should I turn it up?
Yes,
because it's
please.
been on a very low heat. Do you want this on a high heat or just medium?
High heat, I want to just
High.
be able to get some marks, and then we're going to pop it in the oven.
I just felt here, didn't touch it because it feels really warm
Trick of
already.
the trade. Just
Yeah,
put your hand
you
over
know
it.
that. You feel that heat coming off. Folks. Wish you could feel it. I almost roast my hand and I'm not even touching the pan. Okay, so
So
what do we
we're
do
ready.
now?
We're going to put a little bit of oil.
Drop of oil.
And I'm going to put just a little bit on the what we really want to do, Ian, is just mark what we say, mark the top, the presentation layer.
Yeah, so this pan is actually a grilling pan, and you can see there are lines in there. So that's by marking, you mean that we're going to get those lines onto the meat?
Yes.
Okay.
Just lowering it a little bit as we see the natural oil, and I'm putting it down.
You hear that sizzling there, folks? That's marking the meat.
I'm going to wash my hands.
Okay, most important, always washing your hands when you're dealing with chicken. Oh, I'm beginning to smell those aromas. Delightful.
I'm going to give it a little bit longer just so that we really get that defined mark.
Yes.
Yeah?
Now, how long would you do this for?
Depending on the level of heat, like we started off on a really high heat.
Yes.
I've lowered it a little bit because what happens is again, using the brown sugar caramelizes and will burn. So you don't want it to overburn. You want to just allow the sweetness of the sugar to come through with the spices. So you want to reduce
This is like maybe a couple minutes each
a
side?
couple minutes on each side.
Oh, wow, look at that. It's absolutely delightful. Don't worry, I'm going to show you in just 1 second, folks. I'm going to bring that, I'm going to tip it forward so you can see the marking, as Deborah calls it. Isn't that incredible? Look at those lines there.
And because we want to keep it moist, we just want to sear both sides, and we want to keep that moisture in, so we're going to take it and finish it in the oven. Smells nice, huh?
Incredible. You're making my mouth water.
Okay. Trick of the
I mean,
trade.
literally, my mouth is watering.
Trick of the trade, a little bit of water in the pan.
Okay, folks, here's a little tip for you.
And I like to put a little pinch of salt, not much, just to keep so that it's not extracting, it's pretty much keeping the same salt content.
So just put a little bit of water, not enough to cover the whole bottom of the pan, but just enough to give a little bit of lubrication so it doesn't stick immediately.
And we're putting it in the oven.
Oh, shall I go and do that for
Yes,
you?
please.
Folks, I just want you to have a look at that. So you get an idea also as to how much water is in there.
And you're seeing the colors of the turmeric and some of the other stuff coming.
Absolutely. Let me go and pop this into the
Sure.
oven. 350 degrees.
Yes,
and how long?
for about another 5 to 8 minutes. You can test it when it starts. You'll see the color
Okay.
change.
Great.
Okay, next we're going to do a salsa. But you know, traditionally when we think of salsas, we think of salsas that are not cooked. In
Yes.
this case, because again the emphasis is on healthy, and we want to be able to get in some of our vegetables, we have some locally grown green squash.
Yes.
We have our bodi. And these two items, we're actually going to apply a little heat. So we're getting the pan hot and we're searing them off with a little salt and pepper.
Not to cut you or to interrupt you too much here, but green squash, is that the long
Zucchini
squash?
or zucchini, yes.
Zucchini, so that's the one that's long and thin. Not
We actually-
confused with the one that looks like pumpkin, which is yellow.
No, we have it.
Oh,
we have
here
a
we
couple
go.
of pieces here.
Here are
right?
pieces, yes.
And just again, for the viewer, want to show them how to cut it. So you're going to work with me on this. Ian.
Okay.
There you go. What we're going to do is cut it in strips.
Okay.
A couple of thin strips down.
We want a couple of thin strips. Trying to keep them uniform. I've been looking at what she's done in the bowl here. And I tell you, I hope I can stick to that level.
I am sure you can. Correct?
And then we're going to, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to go too fast because you're going to cut your fingers. Oops, you see? Trying to keep them uniform in size. There we go.
Very
And I
good.
have one little one too big here, so I'm going to cut it. Because sorry, you're going to take that with your
I'm
hands?
just using it on the side, and I want to show again at home viewer because everything is cut. A couple of tricks of the trade again. So for the peppers, what you will do is you will cut the ends.
Okay.
We call this shaving, actually. So we're taking off a little bit of the
Look
membrane.
at what Deborah's doing here. She's taking off a little bit of the membrane that's on the inside of the sweet pepper.
And again, the same thing, we're cutting in strips. What this does is give you a very clean finish. Very, very clean finish when it's completed. And you're basically just cutting it. And you have some really nice cubes.
Okay.
And for the tomato, when it's this size,